Hi, I'm gonna go over assignment one for the auditing course. Pretty straightforward assignment probably for most of you, but some things I thought I would talk about, maybe from my own experience doing audits. So just to clarify, this is an external audit being done at this company. So it's theoretically you'd be like a SASM or the Construction Safety Association. So if you don't, I guess if you don't know SASM, it's a and same with SASM, it's a safety association of Saskatchewan manufacturers. And if you just take a look, so your organization has to get core audited to get um, core certification from these guys. There's I think 11 or 12 different safety associations. So they're all going to do similar stuff. I just am talking about SASM this time because this poly place is either a member of this or the Construction Safety Association. So going through, I had more dealings with SASM as well, so kind of talking with them. But in short, that's kind of SASM, and then you can look that up yourself. But with the core, the certificate of recognition, and then you see that on the company trucks and all that when you're driving around. I start noticing that if you haven't seen that before. So a lot of companies, like I mentioned, the mines make you have core certification and submit that when you do bids. And then, like I said, the 21 steps in our courses plan are the 21 steps that like SASM would use. And like if you're just taking a look at this, so they tell you exactly how many interviews that they do. So 5 employees, 4 interviews, 50 employees, 19 interviews. So they don't say why that is, but there's like sampling techniques that are mentioned in our course as well. And then again, one-on-one interviews that are 25 to 45 minutes long. So obviously, I said before, you're going to have to, or we'll say in this presentation, is that you're going to have to book this stuff with the plant manager. Okay. So again, you can use the SASM website as a reference if you wanted, but really the course materials are going to have that as well. And contractors have to be core certified to bid on contracts. So that's one big push for why a lot of these companies want to have core certification from their safety association, right? So I'll just talk, not about the assignment, but just talk in general right now. So when you get hired as a safety coordinator, again, like safety coordinator, not safety officer at most of these places, the safety coordinator will probably do an internal audit themselves using this audit tool. And this audit tool is based off the CSA standard. And they'll just go through and see, like, do every single one of these lines match up, right? So if you're a safety coordinator, and like for me, I worked at this factory, a lot of stuff hadn't been updated in years. So like one of the main things I redid the safety manual, and then I started documenting all the training I did, and I kind of had the end goal of getting core certified, right? So like that was me working as a safety coordinator for the company. So like in this assignment, you're not that role. You are an outside agency doing the core audit or like external audit for this company, right? So if you've never worked at a factory before, factories are usually have continuous flow, right? So you have to communicate your plan to the plant manager before you get to the site of what you plan on doing. And then the plant manager can ensure that the workers, supervisors, and managers are available for interviews or walkthroughs or whatever you're planning on doing with them when you kind of want to, right? Because if you show up and just expect, like, oh, we're doing an audit this week, like people will be available for us, like you will be waiting long periods of time before you get the information you want, right? So in short, like I'd become really familiar with the audit tool in this course because even though it's like probably more like assignment 2 and 3, it's a good idea to come familiar with it because this is pretty much application of the safety program to make sure like a company has a safety program, right? Um, One of the big things I would point out, and again, this isn't really in the assignment, but like issues that I had in this is like you do training and then people don't remember the training, or like, oh, especially long-term workers, this company never does this or this company never does that. Um, some of the sections you have to interview workers. So like down here, so you interview workers, is there like, and they'll ask, like, you ask workers in this audit, were you trained on your health and safety responsibilities? And like, if the company hasn't had uh, documented orientations and stuff, that's definitely where, like, as a new health and safety coordinator in real life, you would want to start doing orientations with workers, even the guy that's been there 25 years. Well, this is what we're going to do every year. Like, I typically pick the hottest day of the year to do orientations, WMIS, safety training, because the work output was very low anyway on the hottest days of the year. So it's like you pick one and then you do kind of a safety training blitz. And usually management was fine with that because they also conceded that very little work was getting done when it was that hot. So again, a lot of this stuff going through will be records that this health and safety coordinator would have, or it might be the plant manager. Um, a lot of that kind of stuff. Who's keeping this records? A lot of all the safety stuff is, a lot of companies do it, but do they have records of it? And then that's where the core audit, a lot of it's like more like paper trail of making sure you're doing stuff. So whether it's the occupational health and safety committee keeping the records, or it's HR that keeps it. Again, you'll have to get probably the HR manager involved in the audit because they're going to have to pull records. So you're going to have an HR admin person being able to like either access them electronically or actually being pulled out. So if you're just going through, like, some of this stuff would be under a safety coordinator, or possibly the plant manager, could be the HR manager they have to talk to. So again, maintenance manager would have a lot of the equipment inspections, possibly. I did them a lot at one company I worked for, but I was in the role of health and safety coordinator because they weren't being done. But then that guy kind of had to take that over for me. Again, all these records and stuff just going through, is that going to be due? Does your report need this for assignment one? No, but I'm just talking in general because it's a good time to kind of talk about the overall course as well. But anyway, the audit tool is quite thorough, but so should your safety program be, right? Other things like, how are you going to break this up? How I would write out the report: don't answer questions, just you turn this question into a statement, date of the audit, and then put the information underneath. Areas to be audited, you know what I mean? So scope of audit, like you turn the questions into statements and then you put your information under the statement, right? Like that. That would be how like a more formal business report would look. I'm a big guy on references. Like, why are you doing what you're doing, right? So this course tells you how to do an audit. Use that material as to reference it, because it's like, in my experience, especially with a company that's quite new on their safety journey, they will ask a lot of questions. Why are you doing that? Why is this being done? How is this being done? And the more you're like, well, it's being done because of this best practice, this regulation, the CSA standard, there'll be a lot more buy-in, because people are like, oh, like, especially management, if they haven't done this stuff, will be kind of like, okay, that makes sense. And then you can refer to them the document. If you start saying, I think, I believe, I in a report, expect to get shredded, because people don't want your opinion because they have opinions of their own and they've obviously not been running necessarily the safest company. So you're putting yourself, how to say this in an English way, in a you're putting the conflict between you and the management, where if you're using a lot of references, you're externalizing a conflict, right? Like these aren't my opinions. This is like what the law is. This is what the CSA stat says. I'm applying those to your business. That is how to write a report. Because if you're constantly saying, like, I think I this, if they disagree with it, now they're finding conflict with you, the auditor, right? Where really you're just applying the regulations and the CSA standard for auditing in this case, right? So that's kind of how to do that. If you're not sure how to reference, I do have a referencing video in the news. If you're still confused, I definitely can help you with that through email. If there's any other questions, by all means ask. Like I said, I kind of think it's a fairly straightforward assignment, but like I do like making the videos just like touch base and also like add a context maybe to like why people are doing the audits and all that kind of stuff. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.